About 22 years ago, one of my former students would become a student of a Litvish yeshiva in Passaic, remarked that he wishes to see how, God forbid, there would be no Rebbe, and what would happen to Lubavitch, how they would all lose their identity. It is now more than 18 years since that fateful day of Gimel Tammuz in 57-54, 1994. In a week and a half, actually less than a week and a half, we will have a convention in Crown Heights with about 3,400 Lubavitcher Shluchim from all over the world. And there will be a dinner which will have well over 4,000 people together under one banner, under the flag of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Not only hasn't Lubavitch lost itself, nobody left en masse, we've actually gotten stronger. Our children are more determined than ever to bring around about the vision that Mashiach should come and godliness should be manifest all over the world. And the Rebbe's message of goodness and kindness, compassion, and that goodness will defeat evil, just as light will overtake darkness, is all that the students know and believe in. And the children are more dedicated than their fathers and their grandfathers. So the smirk and the prediction has come out the opposite. What is the secret of the success of the Lubavitch movement? The secret is Ahavas Yisrael, love of your fellow Jew. And despite our differences, we've learned to love each other and respect each other. And when reaching out and dealing with the communities, we have as our maxim the same Ahavas Yisrael. Some of us can sometimes do the wrong thing, but as a movement, the Lubavitch movement is governed by goodness and kindness. And goodness and kindness ultimately win out over darkness and hatred. There should be no hatred from others to Lubavitch or from Lubavitch to others. There should only be mutual respect and admiration. The problem is that the evil inclination gets in the way. Instead of focusing on the positive aspects, the animal soul focuses only on the negative aspects. And so rather than talk about other people's difficulties and limitations, we have to talk about the positive. And this reminds me again that I had the opportunity of meeting up with Dr. Balkany. One of my videos, the Rebbe, the Doctor, and the Scribe, I talked about it from hearsay. But here's the actual story. The doctor had his tefillin checked. The scribe was busy trying to get home and quickly looked over one of his sets of tefillin. He has two sets, Rashi's and Rabbeinu Tam's. And the scribe looked over his Rashi's and said they're fine, but he had no time for the Rabbeinu Tam's. A short while later he was in Brooklyn, and as he passed the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Rebbe looked at him and says, you ought to check your tefillin. He was shocked. And he was in Brooklyn, staying with his brother, and he decided to have his tefillin checked. Gave them to a scribe. And a short while later the scribe calls him. He says, yes, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was right. Oh, he said, I knew I should have had my Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin checked. He said, no. It was the Rashi's tefillin. The Rashi's tefillin had been checked, but in his haste, the scribe put the parchments in the wrong boxes, and hence they were not kosher. How did the Rebbe see that on the doctor's face while he's passing through, along with thousands of other people? And the answer is very simple. The Rebbe loved every Jew, and God showed him what he could do to help every Jew. And this Jew who wanted to perform the mitzvah of tefillin, the Rebbe sensed that his tefillin were inappropriate. The Rebbe had that insight, the divine insight. And this happened thousands of times over and over again. But this is one of those stories that I have just spoken to the doctor himself. The Rebbe knew what no other person knew. And just as he knew that, he also knew that God was real, and the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, along with the rest of the oral law and the scriptures, were also true. And just as the Rebbe recognized the truth that the tefillin were not kosher, the Rebbe also recognized the truth that the Torah is real and everything in the Torah is real. And so we don't have to fight with each other. Torah is true, and the Torah says we have to have love for every Jew, and that's the main point of the Torah, as Hillel says in the Gemara Shabbos. And so, my friends, don't smirk at the others. Don't look down at someone else who's different from you. You have something to be proud of. Promote that. I have something to be proud of. I'll promote that. And together we will promote the goodness and kindness of God and bring Mashiach to the whole world. Shalom.